You don't want to reduce your relationship with Jesus down to a set of rules that you have to follow. You don't want to become a religious moralist. But how do you stop yourself from becoming a dry religious rule follower? The answer is not to throw out all restraint. The real answer is this: learn to commune with Jesus. Jesus said it himself, "Remain in me as I also remain in you." But how? How do you remain in Jesus? You need to learn to commune with Christ. Have you ever taken communion at a church? I think these little communion things are ridiculous. Now, it's the fast and easy way to take communion at church, especially a large church. Don't get me wrong, we use these things at my church, and communion is still my favorite thing that we do at church. Now, taking communion can become robotic, but let me show you how to make it into a powerful practice in your life. I'm going to help you use your consecrated imagination to visualize communion so that you can connect with Jesus in a meaningful way. Check this out. Next time you're at church and they're about to take communion and it feels robotic, hijack the moment. If the pastor is just going through the motions, you don't have to. Instead, try this. When the pastor says something about the bread being the body of Jesus given to you, while everyone else is just popping the wafer pill, I want you to slow down. Slow down and imagine this. Imagine this with me right now and experience communion with Jesus right now. Imagine yourself following Jesus on the night of his crucifixion. You're freezing, you're tired, it's cold outside, you've got nowhere to go. Can you imagine the chill in the air? Can you feel the fatigue in your eyes? You've been following Jesus at a distance. Earlier that night, you had dinner with Jesus, and he told you to remember him every time you eat bread and drink wine. Then Jesus went to pray. He prayed until 2 a.m. You planned to pray too, but you fell asleep twice. But Jesus came back and he woke you up. At 2 a.m., all of a sudden you were wide awake because you watched Jesus arrested by soldiers. Adrenaline made you wide awake. But now it's even later. You've been following Jesus at a distance and everything in you wants to go back to sleep. You followed Jesus and watched him stand trial at a religious court at 3 a.m. Then you watched him be drugged to another religious court and stand trial again for the same crime. And he received the same ruling: crucify him. It's so late now that the sun is about to rise, and Jesus is taken to another trial, this time a Roman court. The governor, Pilate. Can you feel the energy shift? Things are getting real now that a Roman official is involved. He actually has the power to put people to death. You're watching as Jesus is being humiliated by religious zealots and beaten by state soldiers. Your stomach churns, and you watch a man you so greatly admire and deeply love be flogged like trash. You're furious, but you know you can't do anything. You're so cold, so tired. You look at Jesus' body, and for the first time, you wonder what it feels like to be him right now. The pain, fatigue, fear, cold, the overwhelming weight that he's bearing right now. And then you hear Pilate arguing with religious leaders. You're overhearing that he sees no reason to find Jesus guilty, but they insist that he deserves to be killed. Then you hear the arguing stop, and you see Pilate hand Jesus over. It's then that you understand. Just like Jesus told you at dinner, he's giving his body on your behalf. What emotions flow through you at that moment? Jesus wants you to remember this moment forever. And so when you take communion, remember the night that Jesus gave his body for you. Remember the love Jesus gave for you. Take the bread of communion. Hold the communion cup and hear Jesus say to you, "This is my blood of the new covenant, which is poured out for many." But before you drink, spend time using your imagination that God's given you as a gift to see Jesus on the cross. See the details and remember why he allowed himself to die in such a horrific way. I'm not going to create the details for you now. I'm going to allow you to create that vision for yourself. If you take the time and put yourself with Jesus at his crucifixion, you're going to experience communion with Jesus. If you use your imagination to recall the biblical imagery, the act of taking communion will be transformed beyond something you just do at church, and it will become a powerful way to commune with Jesus, a way to abide with Jesus and remain with him. Be blessed, my friends. Learn more at friends.church. Just click this card. Be blessed.